Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for watching. I want to tell everybody thank you for subscribing and watching and liking the videos. I appreciate your comments and all that. And so I thought I'd take a minute and make kind of an introduction video and kind of what this channel is about and what I'm trying to accomplish here. So behind me, this is my 55 Chevy. I've had it for about 2 or 3 years, and I'll put in a clip of what it looked like whenever I first got it. So as you can see, it was a complete basket case. It was gutted. There was no floors, no substructure in it. Somebody was going to turn it into a back half car and do like a full race build with it. So I thought I'd give you a quick walk around of it and kind of talk to you a little bit about what's been going on with it. Originally when I built it, a friend of mine gave me I did a motor swap for him, and he gave me the big block out of his truck, and it had a small cam in it, and it was time for a rebuild, a re-ring. It needed some work, but I used it in here and we went to a couple races. We got a best time of like 8:05 in the 8th mile, which isn't too bad for what it was. And in the meantime, I built a new motor that you've seen in my run stand video, and I don't know what the horsepower is on it or anything, but it's got oval port heads. I did some port work on, bigger valves. It's got a hydraulic roller cam in it, 30cc piston, so it's got 10-to-1 or almost 11-to-1 compression, and it's healthy. And so we put it in there. We took it to the track last weekend, and we had an issue where we were blowing the dipstick out. Whenever I built the engine, I gapped it for nitrous because we plan on spraying this engine, and I don't know if that or if my crankcase evacuators built or backing up pressure. So I'm going to go over a couple things, and then we're going to probably go and make a test hit in it and see if we can recreate the issue, or maybe if we have fixed the issue. So I'll give you a quick walk around of the car real quick. Alright guys, so here it is. 55 Chevy, stock frame, stock front suspension. I do have some Moroso coilovers I'm going to put on it shortly. It's got a big block Chevy. It's got a turbo 350. The car is, like I said, whenever I got it, it was completely gutted. Somebody removed all the floor pans, so I had some tubs. I put some tubs in it. Fabricated the floor pans because it was cheaper that way. I used 1x2 square tubing to make the subframe, and then sheeted in 16 gauge sheet metal. Now if you follow the channel for any amount of time, you know that I like swap meets, and so majority of this car was built out of swap meet material and used parts. Very seldomly do I go and buy new stuff. If I do, it's probably off of eBay. But it's pretty basic car. Do plan on putting carpet in it. The wife and I made some panels, like a rear package tray panel and some door panels. It looks pretty good. I got some cool door handles I picked up a while back. Y'all may remember that. But it's a all glass, all steel car. It's got a one-piece front end. This is all factory sheet metal. I welded it together and just put some Bondo over it, so it's really heavy. We're waiting on a fiberglass cap if we can ever find one at the swap meet. I've done things like I'll upgrade with chrome whenever I can find it. Like I said, 468 big block, pretty mild engines, nothing real spectacular. Turbo 350, full manual valve body on it, no trans brake, so it's foot brake car. We've got the skinnies up front, running 10s on the back with a 28 10.5 tire. Now the fender wells were radiused whenever I got it. I went and re-radiused them because they were off and my body work is not the best, so I got an issue to fix there. It's got a 9-inch 411 gears. I'll pop the trunk. Kind of see there is nothing back here but really a fuel cell and a battery. I did find some of these ladder bars. I don't know if you can see them. They're off of a Chevelle, like a 7071 Chevelle, and they work really well with this spring wrap. It's got 33 spline axles, 411 gears. I also have another set of gears for if I want to run around town. It's like a 3.0 set of highway gears. We'll do that here in a minute. But so this is it. Before this, I had several Model A's, and I had one with big block. Recently, I just seen the car. It was on one of the 660 Street videos. If you follow them on YouTube, is a little Model A, and it had a big block in it. I think they still have a big block in it, but I sold the car a couple years ago because, you know, I don't know, it's not very family oriented friendly. So the long-term goal is to get a back seat in this so the family and everybody can go cruising. And then we have a little 62 Chevy shoebox that we are going to get together for a 7.0 index car. And you'll be seeing videos on that in the future. So that's basically the rundown. So this is what I think is happening. I have crankcase evacuators on here. And with the old motor, I didn't have an issue with it, but if you can see, the dipstick was already out of it, so it's not really, doesn't take a lot to blow it out, honestly. So I went to the track the other night, got in the burnout box. This thing actually hit 7 grand in the burnout, which I was really shocked. It kind of caught me off guard, and it started smoking. I was like, crap, I broke something. So they backed me up, so I was leaking oil. So I went back, and I really didn't, you know, there was a little bit of oil down here, and I thought, okay, so I checked the valve covers. The valve cover was loose, so I thought, okay, this valve cover. So I went back to the starting line, did my burnout, everything was good. Left, got half track, and it started smoking again. They black flagged me, kicked me out of the track. So what I think is happening is, if you can see, these headers are not actually for 55 Chevy. They're for a C10. They're C10 fender well exit header for a 4-wheel drive truck. And whenever I got them, I cut off the collectors and went to 2.5-inch exhaust. So what I think is happening is, at low RPMs, I'm getting plenty of vacuum. But once I think these heads start breathing a lot better than my old ones, and whenever they start breathing good, I think what's happening is it's hitting a roadblock here and creating turbulence and blowing it back into the crankcase. So I have done some research, and what a lot of people do is they take and put a piece of rubber hose here and put a worm clamp on it, and then bring it down and worm clamp it here, and that'll keep the dipstick tube from blowing out. So I think that's what they're gonna. So I think that's what I'm gonna do, and then we'll maybe unhook the crankcase evacuators. Yeah, you can. I don't know, because there's oil here also. Well, we'll put a piece of hose on here, clamp it down, see if it happens again. I also thought about, I know this tube, this dipstick tube goes way down into the oil pan, about that far. I thought about cutting it off to get it out of the oil, so that if it does pressurize, it doesn't shoot oil out, it just shoots pressure out. However, I do have the collector flanges, and I thought about cutting here and sticking them out this direction, and then tying the exhaust into them. That way maybe it'll free flow a little better. But now that I'm seeing that oil there in that broken tube, makes me think maybe I do have a bigger problem. So we will we'll go ahead and do the dipstick thing and see how it works, and then maybe go take a test hit and see if we can recreate the issue. Okay guys, so let's talk about what I did here. So I just took and put a clamp here and a clamp here. I had to cut the little bell off of the dipstick, but honestly, it's super tight. and the dipstick will actually pull out. So what I might have to do if this continues is I have to put a tack weld here, and then those O-rings on the oil pan down here are junk. I don't know if you can see it. So I use Right Stuff Permatex Black. It works really good. But as you can see, this is pretty solid. Now it's super inconvenient to have to untighten this to pull the dipstick. But it's also inconvenient to drive an hour to the track, spend 50 bucks, and make one pass and come home. So in that ration, we'll see if this works. Now, second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put in this video is I'm going to use this app right here. I don't know if you can see it. It's called Drag Racer, and what it is it is basically a, I don't know, it's like a draggy. So maybe we'll do a little review of it. I know what I ran the other night at the track. We'll see how close it is, and we'll go from there. Let me get the GoPros hooked up, and we'll go make a lick. Alright, before we go for a ride, let's talk about what I'm wanting to do with this channel, why I wanted to start a channel, and where I expect to go with this channel. So the first thing is, let's talk about the platform. I love YouTube. I think YouTube is a great tool for two reasons. One, because it is a wealth of knowledge. You can get on YouTube and you can look up anything, how to change a headlight, how to change anything, a light socket. And so it is very informative. It is a great, I mean, it's probably one of the best learning tools I have ever had. Another thing about YouTube is it's a lot of DIY. It's a lot of people just like you and me out there doing stuff. And I think a lot of times we get discouraged and not do something because we don't want to mess up or we don't want to break something. And then you can get on YouTube and see somebody in your exact same situation that is not a professional doing it and doing a pretty good job at it. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a professional or anything like that. I'm just an enthusiast, a hobbyist. This is what I like to do. And another thing is, I found out a long time ago, if you take what you love and turn it into a job, it becomes something that you do not want any part of. It is not fun taking what you love and making a job or a career out of it. It takes all the fun out of the whole reason why you loved it to begin with. And some of y'all may disagree with that. That's just my own personal feelings on it. The second reason I love the YouTube platform is because where our society is and where we are right now, with all the technology, I feel like it is one of the greatest. I love sitting down on my couch and watching YouTube. I feel like a lot of us are like that. I've seen statistics where, like for say CNN, their views have dropped since the pandemic, and I mainly think it's because people are starting to stream more. And yes, I think that in the future, streaming, I believe cable companies, satellite companies will almost go away, and majority of people will stream. Because you get to, and honestly on YouTube, yeah, there's small commercials, which is great. But you can pick so many random, you can pick whatever you enjoy, you can watch on YouTube. Over and over and over, all day, every day. There's so much content out there, which is what's great about it. I remember whenever I was a kid, there were shows like American Hot Rod that came on Discovery. American Hot Rod, Motorcycle Mania, Monster Garage. Those were the things. There was even one called Junkyard Wars. I love that show. But they were few and far between. So nowadays, kids have access to whatever they want to look up. So I want to be able to use this channel to provide that for people. Now, let's get into that, because I feel like I'm not going to be a professional YouTuber, okay? I have a job. My job pays me really well. I don't want to sit here and do this for a living. I believe that really takes all the fun out of it. So what I want to do is just share with y'all what I have learned, or things that tips and tricks I have picked up over the years. I want to bring y'all along on some of the builds I do. That way y'all can have confidence to try this stuff yourself. So like I was saying, this is a hobby that I love. I want to bring y'all along to swap meets. I want to bring y'all along to car shows. I want to share this with the next generation that's coming up. Because if we don't share it with them, this all will go away. Especially with politicians pushing EV cars. Now don't get me wrong, I would love to have like an electric motor in this car, and I've looked at that, or you know, in any car, like maybe an old 4-door Malibu or something, you know, or Chevelle. I think an EV motor and something like that would be super cool. However, right now the price range on those vehicles are outrageous. You can buy conversions, but they're the price of a new Tesla. So right now it's unobtainable for me personally. However, I do see the market, I do see the hobby going that direction, and I'm completely okay with that. But I do love the sound of a good V8. So that being said, the next generation is I want to share this with them. I want to share it with my kids. I want there to be other people involved whenever my children get to the age where they start driving, and I want there to be a hobby or an enthusiast for this also. So that's what I'm hoping to do. I mean, I'm not saying I'm the only one. There are hundreds of channels out there with car enthusiasts, and I think it's great. I think it's what's going to keep our hobby alive. Now, another thing is this hobby can be extremely expensive, and it's almost, for instance, I have friends that have spent $70,000 or $80,000 on vehicles that still don't have AC, that are good drivers, but they're still having to work on. And this hobby can get very expensive, and it is a deterrent, if you understand where I'm coming from. And so I remember whenever I was a kid, people used to give me Hot Rod magazines and like their old issues of Hot Rod magazine, and I would go through there, and in one of them there was a red oxide primered Nova, and it was a good looking car, and in one of the captions underneath it, it said, even though this car isn't in paint, these guys are still out having a great time. And I think that is great. Especially, I love the old Roadkill, and I do believe that was probably a David Freiberger article. That sounds exactly like something he would say. But I love the fact, I just watched an episode last night where they got a 4-door Chevelle and were driving it cross country, 6-cylinder. But it was a great car. It's a classic car. It teaches, I mean, if a younger person was to grab something like that, it would teach them mechanical skills. It would teach them how to maintenance their vehicle. And I feel like that is something that is very important that we need to, we have almost lost that, okay? Used to, you pull up to a gas pump in the 60s and 70s, and there would be quarts of oil there where you had to put a quart of oil in your car, or check the fluids. It's something, people nowadays, they buy cars, they don't do nothing to them. And I think it is super cool. None of my wife has a pretty nice car. She has an LS powered Nova. It's got nice paint, nice interior, stereo, AC. It is a wonderful car. But you don't have to have all that to still have fun and be involved in this hobby. And that's the main point that I want to get across with this channel is you don't have to have a lot of money. However, I'm not going to say you're going to take something like this and turn it into a daily driver. You could, but it is going to be more expensive than what it would be to go probably pay a monthly payment on a car to keep it maintained. So from, you know, I'm not saying these are daily drivers. I'm saying they can be. I have a friend, he daily drives a 73 model Chevy dually every day. Been doing it for years. Great truck. But, you know, well, I guess what I'm trying to get at here is you don't have to break the bank to have fun with a cool old car. I spray painted this car. It's not a nice paint job. We'll give you a walk around of it. It's not a really nice car, but every time I pull into a car show or a cruise, people flood to it because it's a home-built car. People love seeing something that someone put together in their garage. Yes, it is really nice to be able to see these $100,000, $200,000 cars, but over a period of 10 or 15 years, you can take something like this and slowly put into it a little bit at a time, keep it maintained, keep it driving, and have a really nice car. So basically, yeah, that's what I'm trying to get at with this channel is, I want y'all to realize, or I want to be able to show you that it doesn't take a whole lot of money. If you're going to the swap meets, waiting for the right deals, a little time, a little patience, anybody can have a basic car, or a nice little hot rod, a nice little cruiser, something fun to go out with on the weekends. And I'll tell you, this car, you may think, oh, you got a lot of money tied up into it. I have under $5,000 invested in this car with the new motor in it. But it has taken me several years to be able to put this car together, a little bit at a time. So if I can do it, I feel like any of y'all can do it. And that's what I'm trying to accomplish with this channel, is help everyone build a little confidence and keep this hobby alive. So let's go for that ride now. Okay, so here's this drag racer app. You can see it goes by mile per hour right here. Here's a graph. Here's the up to 8th mile, 8.1 seconds. I will say, by looking at this, like my 60 foot is usually a lot better than this, which I understand because I spun tremendously out of the hole just then. So here's a graph, but this gives you a pretty good idea. I feel like 8.1 is probably pretty close, but yeah. Okay, so we just got back from making test hit. or putting it through its paces, you know, not really test it. But as you can see, this is all still, there's a little bit of slobber coming out of it, but it's not really too bad. I sprayed everything down. I don't see oil on anything, which is good. I guess maybe, yeah, everything looks pretty good. So I feel like that may have helped it. Also, I'm gonna go ahead, I have this parts, the pieces I cut off, the collectors I cut off. I'll probably cut this exhaust off and put the collectors back out just to help with the crankcase evacuation. Like I said, it's not really bad on the streets per se, but yeah, we'll call that good. So like I usually say, thank y'all for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see y'all back next time. Thanks.